Here we have a 2012 Honda Odyssey, and I'm going to be replacing the cooling fan and the condenser fan. First, you're going to start by removing this intake scoop out of the way. We're going to take this cover off. I already have removed all the clips, and you can see the radiator here and the fans. So we're going to have to loosen all of these 10mm bolts so we can scoot this fan, the radiator, this way, and we can pull the fans out. So now that I have the top loose, I took all the bolts out, the brackets are out of the way. You can see this is already moving. So now I have to remove this radiator hose, the upper radiator hose, and you want to make sure the car is cold, the coolant's not hot before you open this. Okay, there's no pressure. So now I'm going to remove the hose. When you're removing this, you will lose some coolant. I have a bucket set underneath to catch any of the coolant. And what I'm going to do with this hose is basically just fold it and pinch it just like that out of the way. So now you can see how much space we have here, so we could pull these fans off, and it's really a piece of cake, guys. So next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna disattach the pigtails. I've already removed this one. We have this harness, it's attached to the radiator fan right here. We have to remove that clip, and we have to unpin this and remove it off, because we need to remove the harness out of the way before we start pulling everything up. So for this next part, I got to remove this latch right here. So what I'm going to do is, with a Sharpie, I'm going to mark the top, I'm going to mark the side, and I'm going to go to this side, and I'm going to mark the top, and I'm going to mark the side. And what that's going to do is give me a reference point when I install this back, make sure everything's aligned and the hood could close correctly on where it needs to sit. So there's going to be a pigtail right in the bottom of this latch. You're going to remove that pigtail just like that, so you can pull this out of the way. You're going to just set it here, and look at all this clearance we have made. First, we're going to start with this right side, my left, but this is the right side fan. This is the cooling fan. We're going to start with this side, and then we're going to have room to be able to scoot this radiator fan this way and up. Okay, because if we start on this side, it's going to interfere with this upper radiator nozzle right here where the hose gets attached to. So you want to remove this one first, slide this one to the left or to the right side of the vehicle, and pull up. And guys, I almost forgot, you do have to remove this hose that goes to your reservoir, your coolant reservoir, out of the way. I'm just going to route it over here out of the way for now. So I'm doing these two upper bolts right here. They're 10mm. look how easy that is. You gotta love Honda. Look at that. It's out. Piece of cake. And now I'm gonna loosen these 2 bolts, and we're gonna lift up and go to the right. It just like that. And guys, when it's time to remove this fan, this clip that sits on that, it is going to fight you. You're going to have to try to wedge something behind it and pull up. This is way in the bottom. So when dealing with any aftermarket parts, you always got to make sure everything looks like it's going to line up. Okay, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's a perfect match, but it looks like the pigtails routed to the same place. They look to be like they look the same. So everything is going back pretty much the way it came out. I'm gonna start with the left side fan, and I'm gonna slide it over. Always being careful not to damage the radiator. Find where it sits, where it lives. There's 2 slots in the bottom. Okay, we got this side done. We're gonna jump to the other side. This right in. So now that we have the 2 fans installed, I'm going to go ahead and start installing the pigtails and connecting everything back. Now I'm installing this back how I found it, and I'm using the reference marks to align everything back, because you could be off by quite a bit if you don't align it right. That's why I said to mark everything around the corners. So I have everything aligned, I'm holding it in place, and I'm just going to send it home if I could get this to go the right way. That side, this side. Remember to hook up the reservoir hose. So now I'm grabbing the upper radiator hose and I'm going to reattach it to the radiator. Go see it's smoother. See that? So now I'm just putting the radiator bracket and the condenser bracket back on, and it's a 10mm, the famous 10mm for Honda. They use it on everything pretty much. And guys, I like to start everything by hand and then use whatever I have, whatever electric tool I have or air tool I have to finish it off. But always start everything by hand so you don't get anything cross-threaded. And remember, none of this has to be really tight. It just has to be snug, just to hold. You're not holding down the horse or anything. It's just snug. I see so many people stripping bolts because they're over torquing things and they're just getting carried away. Just like that, everything's coming back together. Going where it fits, where it sits, where it lives. You're gonna live again. Alright guys, and now we're gonna top off the coolant fluid, because remember, some of it leaked off when we removed the upper radiator hose. And always use what's recommended for the vehicle. In this case, this is Honda coolant. So here we're gonna conduct the test. Everything's plugged in and we're gonna see how we did. We're gonna see if the fans will turn on, if everything is working properly again. Okay? And here I'm gonna activate the relays. You see we have this fan working. We have this fan working.